And when you were done, you thought, wow, we've lost this client. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what you can do to recover. Because the fact that the client's angry doesn't mean you've lost the transaction yet. My name is Iyore. I'm a business consultant. I've trained over 23,000 salespeople across 5 countries: Nigeria, Ghana, USA, UAE, Rwanda. I'm an author of several sales books and resources on sales. I've been featured on a lot of media platforms to talk about successful selling. I worked in an organization where I was given a portfolio of $3.5 million. I was able to grow it to $7 million. At a point, in just 11 months, by the way, at a point I was told to sell to high net worth individuals, targets of 20 HNIs in one single month. That was my target. I was able to bring in 21 high net worth individuals to the organization in a single month. I also participated in a sales competition where I was number 1 and I was rewarded with an all-expense paid trip for the World Cup. So I'm going to show you strategies and tactics I've come across in my line of work while selling to be able to navigate and handle angry prospects or clients. First things first, when you're engaging an angry prospect or an angry client, let's understand the mentality and the thinking behind that. And this is my first point. If a prospect is telling you what's on their mind and they're not happy for any reason, maybe, for example, somebody else had sold to them in your organization, or somebody else in another industry or another line of work had sold to them, and for some reason they didn't have a good experience, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do anything about it. If a prospect comes and says, oh, he's angry, he doesn't like your industry, doesn't like your organization, that he has been scammed, he starts to talk about his past experiences. Because he's talking about these things to you, is a sign that he wants something to be done about it. It's a sign that he's interested. It's a sign that he even loves you. What I mean by he loves you, just think about this. Imagine if at the end of the day, you met this kind of prospect and he had been offended, he had a bad experience, but he had made up his mind he was not going to do business with your industry or in your line of products anymore. But he just kept it himself. And when you came, he just says, I don't want to talk, thank you, no, I'm not interested. Can you imagine that? Then there would have no way for you to be able to come in. But the fact that he said, oh, your industry, no, I don't like this, I don't like that, and he starts to tell you what's on his mind. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, that's a sign that this prospect is looking for a change. That's a sign that this prospect cares about you enough to want to talk to you and tell you what's on his or her mind. So number 1, assume that the angry client loves you and appreciates you because they're telling you what's on their mind. Number 2, use your tone of voice to diffuse the anger. I've seen cases where the prospect is so angry, hey, his voice is raised so high. All you need to do at that point in time is drop your tone of voice very low. Very low. Now, see, when somebody is angry, they are shouting because at that point in time, when they're shouting, by the way, their senses are heightened. This means any little sound will be amplified to them because of that state they are in. So if you speak to them normally, it will look like you're shouting. Somebody who is angry and you say, oh, we're sorry about that, sir. In his head, he'll be hearing, we are sorry about that, sir. That's what he'll be hearing. So what do you want to do? You want to drop your tone of voice very low, almost like for him to hear you, he would want to move forward a little bit. So when the prospect is saying, oh, what is all this? I don't like this, whatever he's saying, then you hear him out. After that, you now say, oh, I'm so sorry, sir. I'm so sorry. I couldn't have imagined you'll be going through such. So low. What will happen is the anger will dissipate to the level of your tone. Now, let me tell you, in case you think you're wondering, is that so? Let me give you a brief scenario. We had a role play in an organization. We're doing a training, and we taught them these concepts. And these sales guys were like, no, because they were insurance people, so they had a lot of cases where people were angry and upset. Maybe policies not being paid or claims not being paid and all that. So when we discussed this concept, some people were pushing back. We now did the role play. A guy came forward and he acted very angry. When he was done, I did it, another person did it. We just dropped our tone very low. And everybody could see how in the class, even if we were acting, he couldn't get, the anger rate or anger level dropped significantly. And that was just a role play. Now, how much more would happen in reality? So my point is, one of the first things you can do, of course, like I said, number 1, understand that, hey, they're interested, they love you, they appreciate you, that's what they're sharing with you. Number two, use your tone of voice and diffuse the anger significantly. Number three, hear them out. Hear them out completely. No interruption. Hear them out completely. Hear what they have to say. What's on their mind? Let them tell you the whole story. See, there are times when people say things like, Iyore, I met a prospect, he talks a lot, and I had other meetings to go for. Yes, there are times when you can use some discretion to be able to chip in and try to get the conversation to come to a close if the prospect keeps on repeating the same thing again and again. But when you meet an angry prospect, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the time to want to leave that kind of conversation in a hurry. Especially if it's not like a prospect who hasn't done business with you or doesn't have any potential to do business with you. If you size it up and you realize that, hey, this person probably has done business with us at some point and this is an opportunity for an upsell, or this person, we know that he has experienced us before through another competitor, this is an opportunity to give him another experience. Ladies and gentlemen, take your time. Give him that attention. Hear him out. Then when he's done speaking, you say this. This is what the content of what you should say should be like. Oh, wow. I'm so sorry. You know, hearing you out right now, if I was in your shoes, I would have done exactly the same thing or felt exactly the same way, if not even worse. So I admire your courage, sir, to even feel this way and even be talking to me today. Then you now come up with a solution. Now, what kind of solution could you come up with? You can ask, all right, sir, is there anything that you feel we can do at this point that will make it possible for us to make you understand that we have rectified the situation or that we have changed? Ask for what you feel, ask him for what you think you can do for him or her to help with the situation. Then see how to work within your time frame or work within your resources to make that happen. So sometimes it will require that you would even go the extra mile. And this will take me to my fifth point. Take someone with you to meet him or her next time. When you're going for your next meeting, take someone with you. It would be better if you take a senior colleague with you so that you can be able to handle and manage him a lot better. Many years ago, I remember my regional manager, she sent me a lead. Apparently, this man was a minister in our country. So he was, at that time, was a former minister of one of the parastatals. So we go to his house somewhere in Okwebi, Kedra area. We go in, we meet with him. When I go in for the meeting, my direct line manager then, he's a professor. So my direct line manager, she was with me. The regional manager says, hey, she told my line manager, go with Iyore for this meeting, but I want Iyore to be the one to have this transaction. So we're going for the meeting. I noticed that the line manager, she had already studied about the man's papers and the man's writings as a professor. So when she got in, she started to talk about his papers. I was just looking like, what? She had already studied and read about him. So you could tell that the man was elated, he was excited. Wow, you mean you read all those things? I said, yes, sir. So that built some level of rapport and comradeship between her and the prospects. Then all of this, we needed a document to conclude his transaction. So I called him for the document and he says, what? What do you mean by that? I thought I gave you all the documents when you came. What do you mean? In fact, he just cut the call. He called the MD directly. And that's when my regional manager called me and she starts panicking. What's happening? What did you do? I'm like, sir, I didn't do anything. I just simply asked him for the documentation that we were meant to have asked him for. So my line manager gets on the phone with him and calls him and he had calmed down. He calmed down. He said, oh, sir, it's not like that. And she educated him. And this takes me to the last point. Whenever you are engaging angry prospects, in fact, to prevent angry prospects sometimes they measure to prevent. Focus on education. Educate them properly. Let them understand the process. If you know that you sell insurance and people are always angry about their claims, educate them on the process. You sell land, you've given them, they bought the land, they are wondering, why have I not been allocated yet? Educate them on the process so that they can have realistic timelines. You sell tech solutions. By the time you've gotten to the tech, to the organization, or you got into the office, or you engage a prospect, and the prospect is wondering, okay, why has it not been deployed yet? When is the what's that word you guys use again? Onboarding or the installation, whatever it is, when is this kicking off? Make sure that you take your time to educate them properly, so that they have realistic time frames and realistic timelines. And when you're engaging them, remember to use words like, most of our other clients, this is what we, for most of our other clients, this is how we, so that way he understands that what you're asking him for is not unique to him or her. What you're asking him or her for is simply your documentation and your processes. There's a saying that the person who knows what will always have a job. The person who knows how will always be his boss. The person who knows why will always own the company. So if you focus on understanding why you do what you do, you would always have the advantage and you'll be able to convince them to see reasons why they should follow your process and do business with you. All right, thank you so much for listening. I've told you today about how to handle angry prospects or clients. I've said, hey, assume they love you, number one. Number two, I said, use your tone of voice to diffuse any anger. Number three, make sure you hear them out completely. Number four, I told you what to say. Number five, take someone with you. Then number six, please make education your priority in letting them understand your processes, using the word other clients when you do that, so that they'll be able to do business with you very easily. Thank you so much for being a part of today's session. Please type in the comment section below which of these points got your attention the most. I'd like to hear from you. Please remember to like, remember to subscribe, and remember to share this video with others. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.